In this video in our series on audience-specific marketing in the med device and med tech space, we're going to be discussing priorities as it relates to your investor marketing strategy. Now, obviously, all different types and sizes of organizations have to appeal to investors. Obviously, this can be more important in the startup med device, med tech world, which we've done a lot of work in. But obviously, large publicly held companies as well need to have some type of information about how the company's doing and appealing to shareholders and investors and things like that. So across the board, we just find that especially in the med device, med tech space, this is very commonly a component of their websites, their digital footprint, and how they need to appeal to their audience is to share this information with investors. So typically what we find, from a startup standpoint, it can be that the entire website is focused on investors to start with some information included also about the product or solution. And large global enterprises, obviously they have a lot of other goals for their website, but creating a portal or a page specifically focused on investors is very commonly part of the strategy as well. What I would encourage you to do, regardless of if you're a startup or a large global enterprise, is when you are sharing this information, the financial data for investors, make your message very short and concise. And especially in the startup world, I just want to include, think the Shark Tank model, right? Like if someone comes to the site, they want to know the potential ROI of an investment, how the company's doing, what you do. Making that as short and concise as possible is extremely important. With a lot of the startups that we've worked with, frankly, we've helped coach them to actually pare down the websites that they have to a smaller number of pages, but make them laser focused on their audience and the goal they're trying to achieve to gain that investment. The second piece is obviously to link or embed any more in-depth market or investor data that's necessary. This can be anything from a specific collection of information about a startup and what the investment is going to entail and what's it going to look like for a potential investor, all the way to a global enterprise that links off to a stock ticker of their publicly traded stock and how it's doing. But I would encourage you, whether you're in either one of those seats, getting access and linking to that information as clearly and concisely as possible is extremely important. The third this is for both audiences, frankly, small to large, is consider remarketing ads off of your investor section of your site for brand impact. Obviously, anyone who gets to that section of your site can be a very important stakeholder, and having them see ads about the company after they've accessed that investor or financial specific content can really improve your brand impact across the board. The fourth and final, again, this is a theme in these videos that we're doing. Don't forget a call to action. Obviously, we're generating interest. Anytime we get someone on the website, we want to have a clear next step for them to take. Especially if you're a startup, if someone gets to the investor section and wants to reach out, let's make that as easy for them to do as possible. There's obviously a lot of considerations here, but I'm hoping these few points help illustrate some of the priorities as you're appealing to investors, whether you're working for a small, scrappy startup or a large global enterprise. Thanks.